So you finally decided to take the USMLE Step 1 exam and you've been overwhelmed with all the books and video lectures and subscriptions. Everyone is telling you that you need to read and purchase in order to correctly study for this exam. Well, you landed on the right video because in this simple guide, I'm going to be giving you this step-by-step strategy, the only strategy that you need to follow in order to correctly prepare for your USMLE exam. A quick word about myself. I'm an international medical graduate. I graduated from St. Petersburg State Pediatric Medical University in Russia, in the beautiful city of St. Petersburg last year in 2024. I myself, I'm not Russian. I'm originally from Tunisia. Shout out to all my Arabic viewers. And I traveled to Russia on 2017 in order to study medicine. And like a lot of you guys in 2022, I decided to take the USMLE exam and I had no idea where to start from. I remember going on the internet, on YouTube back then, and I couldn't find one good video of a simple strategy to follow. Every single video that I used to watch was trying to sell me some course, and I wasn't one of the brilliant students back then in 2022, to be honest with you guys. I was in my third year of med school and I didn't really know my stuff in medical school. I wasn't really one of the brilliant kids back in my uni. And I was really overwhelmed with all the information of how to prepare for this exam, this American exam. Fast forward 3 more years, now I successfully passed my USMLE Step 1 exam and my USMLE Step 2 exam. I received my Step 2 exam score report on January of this year, and now I'm in the process of applying for the match. So I'm gonna be getting my ECFMG certification by next month and applying for the match in September. So that's something that interests you. Make sure to follow my channel to keep yourself updated with my journey. So my simple guide goes like this. First of all, you purchase the First Aid Step 1 book. You get a physical version if possible, but you also need to get an online version, a PDF version. It's gonna be really important because in next steps, you're gonna be needing that online version, that PDF version to search keywords. So you purchase the First Aid USMLE Step 1 book, but if you're an international medical graduate and especially a student in one of the Eastern Europe countries like myself, used to study in, you're gonna be finding a lot of content, especially in the first section of the book, which is the general principles section, the one that handles biochemistry, microbiology, pharmacology, pathology, and other general principles. You're gonna be finding a lot of content that we didn't really go through in medical school. And you're gonna be needing some type of explanation. Now, the First Aid book is not the most detailed book out there. You're gonna be finding information just thrown at you and you won't find any way to understand the concepts other than going to some kind of video lectures. And the one that I really recommend are Boards and Beyond video lectures. Now, these are somewhat costly. I think they cost about $500 for the whole course for USMLE Step 1, but believe me guys, it's really worth it. You can find it on the internet for way cheaper, but I of course don't recommend doing that unless you absolutely can't afford the original version. But the idea is you go through this First Aid USMLE Step 1 book and simultaneously you watch these Boards and Beyond videos. They go hand in hand with the First Aid book, and Dr. Ryan, the one who gives the lectures in Boards and Beyond, does a really good job going into the details of every single concept. You won't find any hard time understanding any topic in First Aid book if you're along with it watching these video lectures. So you finish all the First Aid book and the video lectures simultaneously, and that should take you around 3 to 4 months. There are about 700 pages in the First Aid book. The first section again is general principles, where you will study biochemistry, pathology, microbiology, and stuff that you probably didn't study in your university from the first and second year. And then you're gonna jump into systems like cardiology, the cardiovascular system, the respiratory system, and musculoskeletal neurology and other types of systems. Once you finish that, the next step is going to the UWORLD. Now you need to purchase a subscription of UWORLD QBank. There are around 4,000 questions in the UWorld QBank. If you do 40 questions a day, it's gonna take you around 100 days. If you do 80 questions a day, it's gonna take you around 50 days. Now, the pace of which you will study, I recommend 40 questions a day, at least in the first couple of weeks. Once you get that rhythm going, you can step up your game into 50, 60, or even 70 and 80 questions a day in the end of your period of study. But then in the beginning, I really recommend doing only 40 questions a day. And I recommend doing it timed and random. So what that means is you're gonna do 40 questions in an hour. You're gonna have a timer going in the UWorld platform, and you're gonna follow that timer. So you have around 1 minute 30 seconds per question, or around exactly 1 minute and 30 minutes per question, and you need to go through 40 questions in 1 hour. And random basically means that you won't do questions for a particular system once at a time, but you will do 40 questions of all the systems combined. It's going to be randomized by the UWorld platform basically, and that's the version that I recommend, because that's the version that you will take your USMLE Step 1 exam in, random and time. Once you finish doing all the UWorld questions, 40 questions per block, I want you to review them thoroughly. And you need to think about it this way. The more thoroughly you go through your UWorld questions, corrects and incorrects, the more points you're gonna score in your real deal exam. It's just a linear correlation chart. You need to think about it that way. One additional thing that I need you to do once you're reviewing the UWorld question is taking notes in your first aid physical book. So you finish all the 4,000 questions in UWorld. Some people recommend doing a second pass. Now, I didn't do that either in my first or second step of the USMLE exams. But by all means, you can do that. You can go for a second pass of the UWorld QBank, or you can go for another QBank by this point. You can also opt for only doing the incorrect questions in UWorld. There's an option for that, and you can by all means do that. In my particular case, taking the exam in the shortest period of time was more important than scoring more points. So I only had 1 pass of UWorld, but you can do 2 passes of UWorld. But once you finish with all your UWorld content, I want you to jump into the NBME exams. And you can think of the NBME exams like practice tests. Each NBME has 4 blocks in it, and each block has 50 questions. So each block will take you around 1 hour and 15 minutes, not around, but exact. I don't know why I keep saying around. 1 hour and 15 minutes to take. So you're gonna take one block, take a break for 5 minutes, 6 minutes, and go for a second block, 5 minutes, 6 minute break, third block, and then fourth block. And you will take the exam in 1 day. I want you to take the rest of the day as a break. So the exam is gonna take you around 5 hours. And next day you start reviewing the blocks. So you review 2 blocks in the next day, and then 2 other blocks in the day after. Each NBME exam will take you around 3 days to 4 days to take and review and take a break after reviewing it. And the same advice I give in UWorld, I will also give to NBMEs. The more thoroughly, the more you dive into details of the details once you're reviewing your NBME answers, either correct or incorrect, the more points you're gonna score in your USMLE exam. You need to keep that point in mind. It's really important. I saw a lot of people who were just skipping through the answers, and some of those people just didn't pass the exam. So it's really important that you do that. After taking all your NBME exams, and hopefully you've been documenting all the scores that you've been scoring in the NBMEs and seeing a positive trend in those scores, you will jump into the free 120. The free 120 is basically a free version. It's literally in the title, free 120. A free version of the USMLE exam that consists only of 120 questions. You can find it online, and I want you to take that exam. You can think of this exam as your final assessment to see whether you're ready to take the USMLE exam or not. Anything above 70% is a green light to take the USMLE exam. And this is basically my simple guide. The final maybe tip that I really want you to think about and give it a real thought is getting a mentor. Now, in my particular case, I had a friend, his name was Firas, and this friend really helped me. He was studying in the same university that I study in, and he was a really close and still close friend to me. And he took the USMLE Step 1 year, I think, or 6 months before I took mine. So he already knew how to deal with a lot of the stuff that I was dealing with back then. Again, the medical content, the ECFMG registration, how to actually do all the documentation for the exam, and a lot of the study strategy that I was going through. But if you don't have somebody like that in your life, it's gonna be really difficult. It's possible, but it's gonna be taking you way more time than it should be. So if you don't have anyone in your circle who went through the USMLE exam who can dedicate some time to you, I recommend getting a mentor. And I actually recently opened this service where I offer to people mentorship to help them with their USMLE journey. So if that's something that interests you, I will leave the link in the description. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.